Ya, ya te están poniendo,
Okay.
designando.
Good evening. Today is June 11th, 2026. It's 6:10 p.m. and I now call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Ravenswood City School District Board of Trustees regular board meeting. It's good to see you. Everyone's looking great. We are going to start with item 1B, the roll call. So, Trustee Tavera? He is not here. Trustee Nunez? Here. Trustee Vargas Bloom?
Here.
Trustee Latu is not present. And I myself, Trustee Shikomahin, am present. We have quorum and we will proceed. All right, moving on to item 1C, approval of the agenda. Are there any questions or changes to the agenda? I would like to pull item, where is it? 8A1, the meeting minutes for May 28, 2026. Because a couple trustees, myself included, were absent. Anything else we need to pull or change or discuss? All right. If there is nothing else, I will take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. Thank you so much. All those in favor of approving item 1C, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 3-0. That's interesting to say. Okay, moving on to item 2A, comments from the floor. At this time, if there's anyone here who would like to speak about something that is not agendized, now is the time to do so. Please see that lovely yellow sheet there, fill it out, bring it on up to our trustee Vargas Bloom, our board clerk, if there's anything. So trustee Vargas Bloom, or do we have any speaker sheets?
I do not have any speaker sheets.
I'm gonna say speaker cards or speaker sheets. No, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll keep it moving. On to item 3A, we have special recognition. So Superintendent?
Yes, we would like to present to the board our proclamation resolution recognizing June 2026 is LGBTQIA+ Pride Month. And we have members of our executive team who would like to read the proclamation after motion.
Sorry. Okay. So they're gonna read it after we take the motion and then, okay. All right, so we are considering this proclamation, resolution number 2634. Do I have a motion, or yeah, do I have a motion to approve this item?
I move to approve item 3A.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
All right, I will begin. And then our executive team members will come up to the podium. Proclamation resolution number 2634, recognizing June 2026 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month. Whereas the Ravenswood City School District is committed to supporting dignity, equity, and visibility for all people in the community. And whereas the Ravenswood City School District has a diverse lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, LGBTQIA+ community expanding to more diverse gender and sexual identities. And whereas many residents, students, family members, and school personnel are part of the LGBTQIA+ community, contributing greatly to the enrichment of our Ravenswood City School District schools. And
whereas, despite advancements in achieving equitable treatment for LGBTQIA+ persons, discrimination against them persists solely based on their identity, making it important for all districts and communities to stand up and show support for all our students, staff, and families who are affected. And whereas the Ravenswood City School District community pledges to uphold our values and champion our responsibility to protect and support all youth by guaranteeing they have access to learning environments that are safe, welcoming, and free of any discrimination. And
whereas numerous cities across the United States recognize and celebrate June as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month, and whereas June has historically become a symbolic month in America in which LGBTQIA+ persons and allies have come together in various celebrations of pride to support the community's right to live their lives out loud, and
Whereas Pride Month started as a riot against police brutality, and which is now known as the Stonewall Uprising, which occurred on June 28, 1969. Whereas the rainbow flag is widely recognized as a symbol of pride, inclusion, and support for social movements that advocate for LGBTQIA+ people in society, and
Whereas the Ravenswood City School District joins the County of San Mateo to observe Pride Month to honor the history of the LGBTQIA+ liberation movement and to support the rights of all citizens to experience equality and freedom from discrimination. And whereas this nation was founded on the principle that every individual has infinite dignity and worth, and the RCSD calls upon the people of this community to embrace this principle and work to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists. And
whereas celebrating Pride Month influences awareness and provides support and advocacy for RCSD's LGBTQIA+ community, and is an opportunity to take action and engage in dialogue to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equal rights. Now, therefore, the Ravenswood City School District does hereby declare the month of June as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month in our schools, and invites everyone to reflect on the ways we all can live and work together with a commitment to mutual respect and understanding. And furthermore, RCSD will recognize June as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month by flying the rainbow flag and/or the progress flag at the district office and all of our schools during the month of June 2026.
Thank you so much. All those in favor of approving item 3A, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much.
May we take a picture?
Of course. Let's do it.
Come on, team.
3-0.
That's so funny. You do have several. Fantastic.
Ready? All right, we shall keep it moving. We are moving on to item 4. We have some public hearings, and the first is item 4A, public hearing on the Local Control and Accountability Plan, or LCAP. So I'm going to open this hearing now at 6:18 p.m. And we will have a presentation of the LCAP.
Hello again. I'm here to present our 2026-27 LCAP for public comment. And now I will do that. Okay, great. So starting with a reminder of what our LCAP is. It's our 3-year district level plan that describes our goals and the actions that we take and the expenditures that we make to support those goals and student outcomes. We use the LCAP to describe actions that address California's 8 state priorities as reported on the California dashboard, as well as the local priorities that are important to our students, families, staff, and broader community. As a reminder, each year, schools are preparing their school site plans, the SIPSA, which feed into our LCAP, which which is on a 3-year cycle. And so we are at the last of our 3 years in the current cycle. Our 2 primary LCAP goals are first around student academic growth, and secondly around student joy and sense of belonging. And these goals are directly connected to our Ravenswood promise and the learner profile. Within each of these goals, we have outlined in the LCAP actions that our school sites and district will be taking to support progress in these goals. Here are just a few example options around instruction. For example, reading intervention, adoption of a new math curriculum. And these are just a small set of the full list of actions that can be found in the draft LCAP. As part of the LCAP, you will also find reported metrics on a combination of our local data, as well as the state published data that is used in the California dashboard, and all the other ways that we are assessing the progress we are making towards our goals. You will also be able to see financial activity in terms of the planned expenditures that are part of the district's budgeting process. Key updates from last year's LCAP. We have not changed our goals. Those continue to remain the same. We have increased the budget for positions in special education, as well as additional positions in teaching and learning to support the gains that we are starting to see in academic growth. And in terms of timeline and next steps, today is the public hearing, so it is just an opportunity for feedback from the public and the board. And then at next week's board meeting, we will be requesting board action for consideration to approve the LCAP and final budget for next year. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we'll have an opportunity for members of the public to speak or comment on what you just heard concerning the 2026-2027 LCAP. So trustee Vargas Bloom, do we have any speakers for this item?
There are no speakers.
Okay, thank you. And any comments from us? If not, will you say something?
Is it year in vital signs today?
That's June 18th.
Okay, so that, okay. Thank you. That's just on the slide. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So with that, it is 6:23 p.m. and I will adjourn the public hearing for the 2026-2027 LCAP. Thank you. Moving on to the next, we are now on item 4B, public hearing on the 2026-27 Ravenswood City School District proposed budget. And so I will open the public hearing for the budget at 6:24 p.m.
Good evening, trustees and Superintendent Sudaria. I'm here to present our school year 2026-2027 budget for public hearing and adoption. As a whole, at the macro level, the budget we're bringing to you now is very similar to the preliminary budget that we presented in March. There have been some material changes to individual budget line items, but the net impact on the bottom line is fairly modest. We continue to project deficit spending next year up just slightly from about $2.0 million to $2.3 million. Revised expenditure tables are included in slides 4 through 42 of this presentation. As always, I'm not going to go through all the details with you, but I do want to highlight the items that have changed substantively from the preliminary budget. The first change I want to mention is a decrease of about $1.4 million in lease revenue. This is a matter of timing rather than an actual reduction. The primary school is going to pay out the 4 years remaining on their lease in one single payment this June. So this means that we're going to see a large increase in lease revenue for the current fiscal year, and then a reduction of about $1.4 million annually for the next 4 years, and until Castano construction is complete and we are able to release Brentwood. Next, I want to highlight some good news regarding special education expenditures. We have been able to hire for a number of positions which historically we have not been able to fill in-house. This has allowed us to reduce our anticipated reliance on outside contractors, and that savings is reflected in the budget. And in addition, we're projecting some further savings from changes to the placements of some students currently outside our district. Finally, there have been a number of staffing changes due to Assistant Superintendent Eager's departure. This has resulted in a modest financial savings, but organizationally, the impact to our district is much more significant than the money. So I wanted to make sure to address the staffing changes tonight and to remind everyone again that the line item details of our budget, including all positions, can be found in the revised expenditure tables in this presentation, as well as on our interactive budget website. And on that note, the budget website is up to date and now includes a direct link to the clear forms as well, in our ongoing effort to provide even more transparency around how we spend the money that we are entrusted with in service of our students. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Now we have an opportunity for members here to speak. So Trustee Varghese Bloom, do you have any speakers who would like to comment?
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you. Okay, so again, this is, just a hearing for us to take some time and give the community opportunity to provide us with comment. So if there are no comments, we will move on to item 4B3, and I will now adjourn the public hearing for the 2026-2027 proposed budget at 6:27 p.m. All right, so we're going to keep it rolling. It's 4C, item 4C, I'm sorry. We don't have.
Evening trustees.
One, I haven't opened the hearing yet. Sorry, Dr. Eager. I'm sorry. So we are just conferring to make sure that we don't need to take a motion.
That's correct.
No, we do not.
We do not need to take to open the public hearing. Just making sure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. So we're on item 4C, the public hearing for the state waiver. And so we will open the public hearing for the state waiver at 6:28 p.m.
Evening trustees. As discussed at an earlier board meeting, with the likely passage of Measure A, we do want to work to issue as quickly as possible so that we can get rocking and rolling in Castano with the full design plan that we'll talk about later this evening. In order to do the full issuance, we will need to pursue a second state waiver for the sort of rapid pace, to support the rapid pace of construction we've been in the middle of. I'm here to talk more about that is our financial advisor, Shin Green.
Pleasure to be back before the board. As we discussed at the previous board meeting, we will, as Will indicated, need to seek a waiver in association with Measure A, which at this time is indicating that it has been approved. And so with that, we have an education code section 15102 and 15268, which set a limit on the outstanding general obligation bonds a school district can have, and specific to a non-unified district in elementary or high school district. That percentage is 1.25% of the total assessed valuation of the taxable property of the district. And so, as was indicated previously with Measure I's final issuance, we did have to seek a waiver to bring us above. That waiver allowed us to go to 1.76% or $193 million of bonding capacity, somewhat above the 1.25%. Currently, we have just under 190,000 outstanding. With the anticipated Measure A issuance, we'll be bringing that up to 256 $0.9 million in total, assuming that we issue after the August 1 repayments are done, which we anticipate doing. And so until there is another waiver approved by CBE, we cannot issue those additional bonds authorized under Measure A. We are underway with the steps to submit that waiver. We've been obtaining feedback from the bargaining units, and we'll have a bond oversight committee meeting tomorrow, at which we'll discuss those, getting the final public input required under the waiver process. For consideration tonight, you will have a resolution that authorizes submission of that waiver. And very quickly, here are those waiver calculations. What is currently existing, what we anticipate seeing as a baseline of 1.25%. And so you see those there, just a sense of kind of what kind of capacity we have now. We will need additional capacity. And so with the bonding capacity waiver, we simply get to go over the limit. It's pretty traditional for CBE and the State Board of Education to allow for up to 2 times the statutory limit. So I don't have any concerns about what we're asking for. And that waiver authority generally is temporary, usually only associated with a single bond issuance, so that we have to get a waiver each time we issue bonds. The good news is we have no additional bonds anticipated after Measure A, which would require such waiver on the horizon. And refunding bonds do not count against the waiver. And so with that, here's just a calculation showing you over time what we project and demonstrate to the state, assuming a roughly 3% secured tax-based growth level into the future. We would be requesting a waiver up to 2.17% of taxable value, and anticipate that by the time we get to 2037, 38, we will be back within the 1.25%, ceasing that waiver's utility. For the 2026 waiver request, we need this again for the Measure A bond issuance, which will happen this fall. The second waiver we'll be seeking, but have no concerns about its approval, should be out of that position by 2037, 38. We're using very conservative assumptions, so it could be even sooner than that. With regard to tax-based growth, and the total outstanding bonds anticipated after the issuance of Measure A would be $256.8 million. And so a 2.17% waiver should get us there, assuming tax-based growth for next year. With that, if there are any questions or concerns, I'm happy to answer those. But I think we did everything on the summary. And so with that, we are currently looking, just as a reminder, to issue these bonds roughly in October of this year.
Thank you so much for that presentation and that information. So now we have an opportunity for members of the public to comment on the state waiver.
I do not have any speaker cards.
Okay. I actually do have a question for your comment, Trustee Ravenswood, and I'm just wondering if we need a motion to close the comment period. I know we don't to open the hearing, but nothing to close the.
No, we
comment
reviewed this. We reviewed our minutes last year,
period.
all our public hearings, gavel open, gavel close,
Okay.
stating the time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying. We just want to make sure we're doing all this the right way.
Yeah, I was just, it's just the closing the comments. Okay, so that the record show also that at 6:32 p.m. Trustee Tavera may I just weigh in. Good to see you. Okay, and so we are on, just to catch everyone up, item 4C, the public hearing for the state waiver, and we're on 4C3, because now we're going to adjourn the public hearing for the state waiver at 6:34 p.m. I don't know. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all these details and writing and everything. Okay, we're on item 4D, public hearing on the renaming of Cesar Chavez Ravenswood Middle School. And so we will open this public hearing for the renaming of CCRMS at 6:34 p.m.
Yes, so we'll be presenting information, the history again of the renaming or the naming of Cesar Chavez Ravenswood Middle School, and then the work we've done to come up with a recommendation for the trustees. So how the school was named is that between 1956 to 1980, it started off as Kavanaugh School, serving East Palo Alto, Bellhaven students. It was part of the school, then was renamed Ravenswood Middle School in 1980 when it was split into K-5 to a middle school program. between a K-5 and a middle school program. And then 1980 to 2018, the elementary side of the house became Green Oaks Academy. And in pre-2019, the middle school side was renamed Cesar Chavez Academy. And in 2019, when the 6 middle school programs across our K-8 schools were consolidated into the middle school, Green Oaks Academy had closed and the middle school was renamed Ravenswood Middle School. And then a few months later, the communities expressed concern that removing Cesar Chavez Academy altogether erased the civil rights legacy. And so now our middle school is Cesar Chavez Ravenswood Middle School. And then we've shared the rationale for the change several times. And as the board gave direction to pursue the renaming of the school, we followed the board policy that was approved by the board as it was updated April 23rd, 2026. And we followed the protocols laid out in the board policy. On the next slide, we had several engagement opportunities where the in-person sessions for the community, 3 members were present, 1 at one of the community sessions and 2 at another. And we were able to engage with staff during their luncheon, and then as well our students during their advisory period where they completed surveys. And the survey was presented to the community through East Palo Alto City's newsletter, as well as our form of communication to reach out to our families and communities. And so there was about 10 engagement sessions, 2 dedicated to students. And through the feedback in the surveys, we've had about 170 responses, and you can see the breakdown between English and Spanish on the next slide there. And then the roles the respondents identified themselves as, and again, of the adults, they were able to identify if they were not only a staff member, but a parent and a community member, so they could identify up to 3 titles. And the top name recommendations that were provided to us through the survey resulted in Ravenswood Middle School having the highest response, with Lions having 6 responses. The criteria of what the respondents valued most in considering what and why we should name a school is that it fell under cultural and historical. It should be cultural and historically respectful, as well as inspirational for students. And the key findings here is that Ravenswood Middle School led with a wide margin of the 59 submissions versus 6, which was the mascot name, the Lions. There was opposition expressed several times of the risk of naming it after people. Again, with the top values being that it should be named for cultural and historical respect, inspiration for students as well. And then there was a higher response from students just leave that there, that comment. And so the staff recommendation is that we name the middle school Ravenswood Middle School, as it's rooted in the community identity. It reflects the community input. It's consistent with the stated values, and there's no replication of this name in nearby communities. And actually, it will be easier to support with any signature or logo and other paraphernalia and things that need to be changed. It'll be an easier transfer. And so
That is my presentation. Thank you, Superintendent. Okay, so we're on item 4D2, and this is now an opportunity for members of the public to comment on the renaming of Cecil Chavez Ravenswood Middle School. So Trustee Varghese Bloom, do we have any speakers who would like to comment?
No speaker cards.
Thank you. And trustees, anything? If not, I know this is going to come back up for our next meeting.
Yes, so June 18th, next Thursday, the board will take action.
The only thing, again, thank you for the update, the presentation. I'm excited. I think what excites me the most about this was the student participation. And I know I wasn't here for the earlier part of what happened in the meeting, but the sense of identity and sense of belonging, I think, really stands out when I see this, because we want them to feel that. So I'm just excited about that students' participation. And then once again, I think we've said this every single meeting, encouraging our community to participate for next week, or to come to next week's meeting, and whatever the outcome is, that our community process is really setting precedents to really understand it coming up as well. That's how our district handles these decisions. Is very important that our community feedback big to us. So really happy throughout this whole process. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
Through the chair, just really
Yes.
quickly too. Yeah, I just want to thank the city for also helping us push out the information so it reaches more broadly our community members. And I happened to join the cafecito that the city was hosting this morning at Four Seasons as well. And the question came up about the direction we would probably go in. I did share the recommendation, and it did make sense to city staff members and other community members that were there this morning.
Thank you. Okay, so if there are no comments, then we will adjourn the public hearing for the renaming of Cesar Chavez Ravenswood Middle School at 6:42 p.m. All right, so we are on to item 5, updates. So we have 5A, board member comments. So board trustees, if you have any comments or updates you'd like to share, please do so.
Just wanted to give a huge shout out and congratulations to all of our sites for finishing out the school year. It was a long year, as it always is, and so I'm hoping that all of our people get the rest and relaxation that they need and deserve so that they can come back in August or even work through summer school to take care of our kids. And then I also want to recognize a lot of the parents. I wish I would have gotten more names, but a lot of the graduations last week and the week before that were very parent heavy, and they wouldn't have happened without our parents and the support that they give our students and kids. So just a huge shout out to all of them.
Through the chair. I just also want to congratulate our community, and I also want to also thank our president, Shabelle Maheen, who we know is doing a lot right now, and she has attended all of the celebrations and spoke just so many beautiful words of encouragement to the students at our middle school on their way out, and just to remind them that they are Ravenswood and that wherever they go, they have that identity. So thank you for those encouraging words. And I also just want to say thank you for your time and in this season where we know that you also have your own graduation, your children's graduation, and just being present and working and everything. So I just want to shout you out because I know that we don't always give our flowers to people who do a lot of work everywhere. So thank you, and especially thank you for the words that you gave the kids. It was something I wanted to mention when we're talking about the renaming, and I will probably talk about it next time. Just that sense of identity, knowing that what they've built here for 8 years is going to impact them, and they're going to carry that with them wherever they go. And so I didn't do justice to your words, but it was really good, really touched me, and I know it touched all the kids out there. And just the joy you brought and got them out there, dance and all the things that you do and you're able to do with such grace and just excitement and joy, just bring that joy wherever you go. So thank you for that. And also thank you for all the staff and families who also joined in the celebrations. Second thing is that there is the World Cup watch party that's happening tomorrow on the Los Robles field, Los Robles Ronald McNair Field. If you have not registered to attend, please register to attend. I'm sure there'll be on-site registration as well. So show up and let's celebrate. Congratulations today to all the fans of Mexico for your win. I know that was an exciting thing for many people in our community. And then also, I think I'm allowed to say congratulations to our community for Measure A passing. I think that, we know that it was a lot and we are thankful for their consistent support to us and support of the work that we're doing at Ravenswood and continuing to say yes to make things better and make buildings better, make things better for the kids in our community. And so I just want to say thank you to our community. Thank you to all the people who volunteered on the campaign, who texted, who posted on social media, who told their friends, who did all the things that we all can't do just by ourselves. So thank you to all of those who supported us and all of those who voted yes. And thank you to our whole community and congratulations.
I just talked, but I wanted to say thank you for Trustee Bloom for taking the lead on that because of your passion and your vision. Like, it happens. And I know that you are balancing a ton of things, and to take this on and do it with such grace and humility and get people behind you and work with our partners to get it done, it speaks volumes of the community and the collaboration and the friendships and the people that are in your corner and supporting us more because of you. So thank you for your work. And then I did want to add, I forgot, there's a East Palo Alto's first Pride celebration will take place on Saturday from 3 to 5 at Epicenter Arts. And so check it out. It's the first of many. I hear they're going to have a glitter booth and a DJ. And so it might be nice. It's one for the books.
Beautiful. I just want to echo the gratitude for Trustee Varghese Boom and all the beautiful work that she led for Measure A. I believe my husband, who was listed as an endorser or supporter of the measure, received one phone call, and that was enough for him to be like, "Yeah, don't put me on anything." No, just so I can imagine the number of conversations and discussions that Trustee Varghese Bloom has had on behalf of this board and district for this measure and so many other things. So just echoing out loud that gratitude. Thank you so much for carrying that work. And you've carried it a few times. So thank you. I know it's not easy, but you make it look easy, but I know it's not. So thank you. And congratulations to all the folks who've been promoted, who've graduated, who are moving on and transitioning from the district. Beautiful work. It's just been lovely having you here as students in our district. And we hope you always know this is home and you can come back to ask for anything, any kind of support. So congratulations to all the kiddos and families and community members. Any other comments?
I wasn't going to, but yeah, I just wanted to jump on that again to our colleague Trustee Varghese Bloom. Thank you again for spearheading this and being a driving force for that. Again, yeah, we just want to give you your flowers. Thank you. And just very thankful to our community that responded, they're backing us up. And so we're just very thankful for that. I got some messages that they were excited to support. And so with other words, but that I won't say, but yeah, so they were just excited. So I was very thankful to our community. And even at last meeting, we spoke about it. We're being proactive, not reactive. So it's very thankful and thank you for all your work. Yeah.
Through the chair, I just want to say thank you for waiting for me. But I just want to commend Trustee Bloom, the committee, and everybody for their extraordinary work. It's not always easy trying to get a bond passed, especially when there's a lot going on in our community. So I also want to commend the Mercury, who wrote an article about it. And as always, I just want to continue to invite our community to touch base with our central staff. I know that there's been conversation about the TNZ program, and I've seen some really prehistoric facts out there. So I just want to invite our community, connect with us. We'd be happy to chat. We'd be happy to take you on a tour to show you where your hard-earned bond money goes to. And just so, so you can see that Ravenswood is very different than it was last year, very different than it was 2 years ago, and so on and so forth. So I just want to continue to give flowers to our staff.
So you can hear you.
Who's here? Jed. You know what, Jed? You deserve some Korean barbecue. I'm gonna call Jed on the side because he's neighbors with my grandmother. But going back, community, we are so happy to walk you through. You want to come play tennis on one of our tennis courts? Come on by. You want to play some soccer on one of our soccer fields? Come on by. You want to come and hang out in one of our new libraries? We're excited. Lots of great new updates happening at Ravenswood. I invite our community, come chat with us, come to a board meeting. Not in July because we're off, but when we come back in August, we'll be happy to walk you through. Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent.
And also, I just want to make a note that Trustee Latu joined us at 6:46 p.m. Thank you. Okay, if there are no other comments from the board, we'll move on to item 5B, updates from the superintendent.
Yes, I appreciate all the reporting out from the trustees around our promotions, Measure A, acknowledgement of our work through the Mercury News. I do want to highlight that even though it's the end of the year, we are still very, very busy. Our site leaders, as well as our HR department, are still finishing up with our recruitment and hiring, and we'll be able to provide an update for you during our vital signs, and to ensure that we have all of our classrooms filled and the right people in front of kids. And we are also still learning and growing. So our teaching and learning team members also participated in Professional Development Week this week through the Standards Institute, as well as we have team members going to New Orleans to attend Relay, which is another professional development that our teaching and learning team will pursue. We are also in the process of moving again a school site in preparation for the remodel and renovation of Castano School. So Rhonda White and her team are preparing, packing up their things now, preparing for the move to the Brentwood site, which is the former site of TPS. And so they will be at Brentwood site for next year and a couple of years until that project at Castano is complete. And we're looking forward to the presentation to share with you the design of Castano School. And summer school, also team members are getting ready to launch summer school and extended school year as well in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club and then our special education team, holding it down to ensure that our students continue to get the skills, learn the skills they need in preparation for 26-27. So 25-26 has ended, but we are already running in preparation for 26-27. More to come next board meeting.
Thank you so much for that report. We will move on to discussion items under item 6A1 through 6A35. So a
Yes.
number of administrative regulations and board policies and exhibits for first reading. So what you're going to say something?
No, I just want to, you've noticed that we've been presenting the board policies, ARs, in single items so that we can be as transparent as possible, which items are coming forward for revision. And again, this is just for first read. No action needs to be taken at this time.
Thank you. So are there any comments about these? We're not voting, it's just first read, but any discussion anyone would like to have? If not, we will move on to item 7, which are action items. And so we'll start with item 7A, which is final approval of Castano School designs.
This is a presentation here. But I'm pleased to share the approximately 80 million or so final design we've been working on for the last year plus, really, for Castano Elementary, with the goal of breaking ground in the next couple months. I think we've presented individual phases of this in pieces, and we've obviously had a number of conversations with the facility subcommittee members. I know actually a majority of the board's been on a facility subcommittee during the sort of project planning phase for this. But we thought it would be helpful just to share more of a holistic site overview. So Chris Bradley is going to walk through a couple of different site elements here with the goal of kind of just doing one last holistic site-wide view. Without further ado, here's Chris.
Thank you very much. Once again, I'm Chris Bradley with SB Architect. It's been my pleasure for the last almost decade, I think, to be working with you and your staff and community, and really diving into your campuses and trying to work with you to create wonderful, beautiful places for your students to go to school. And we're at Castano now. We've worked through the middle school, Bellhaven, Los Robles, and now at Castano. And I think we've got something very special going on at Castano. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to walk up to the TV and point from there, and I'll just sort of project a little extra. Oh, I will bring the mic with me.
I think that's great.
I didn't know it was an option. Yeah, karaoke right after this. So we've got a couple different projects, but they all come together into one unified design. And so we've got the modernization, which is the 3 permanent buildings that we're going to be doing a thorough renovation, very similar to what we've done at Los Robles and Bellhaven. We've got a single-story new building down here, the L shape, that's up against the field. And then we have a 2-story building up here that's taking place of the large quantity of portables that are perhaps past their prime up against the parking lot. And then we've also got some significant landscape upgrades to really freshen the exterior. So we'll go through those one by one. And through a combination of those 3 reimaginations of the areas of the site, of the buildings, we've captured all of the existing programs, given them appropriate spaces that are the right size, the right functions, and giving you some room for growth. So starting with the 3 permanent buildings, the most significant thing we've done from a kind of first impression standpoint is redone the front of the campus. Right now, when you walk out there, there's not a lot of space in front of the admin building. There's a small plaza, but really you're kind of just walking in directly off the parking lot. And so what we're proposing to do is pushing out the edge of the parking lot here to give you a longer drop-off area. And that gives us a nice courtyard right in front of the admin space. And with that, we're moving the door from the admin from over here to here. And that gives us, again, that extra space to have room out front, get a flagpole, get room for people to stand, wait for the end of the school, and then also gives us the opportunity for a more robust single point of entry, so securing the campus a little better. With the reconfiguration of the interior of the admin, once school starts, there's one way into campus, and that's through the front door of the school. You get to vet people coming in, and then only at that point are they able to get into the campus proper. And so we'll have that single point of entry here. We've worked with Rhonda quite a bit on massaging the layout of the interior of the admin. And we've got, I think, everything dialed in really nicely there in terms of offices, conference space, some additional admin support staff spaces. And then the existing library that's underutilized now, we're looking at turning into an SDC classroom as one of 3. That gives us an opportunity to have a restroom that serves the SDC. So I think a pretty good spot relative to the rest of campus for one of your SDC classrooms. And then we're upgrading the classrooms in the rest of the wing. We go down to the south wing. Right now you've got 4 kind of smaller kindergarten classrooms that are in this cluster. We're going to open those up and turn 2 small kindergarten classrooms into 1 regular full-sized TK or perhaps a kinder classroom. They're essentially the same layout. So we'll have 2 nice-sized TK classrooms here that are immediately adjacent to the newer kindergarten playground that was built a few years back. And then just across the hallway here, we're going to do the same thing. Take 2 standard-sized classrooms, essentially take 1.5 classrooms, turn that into a kindergarten classroom, and then the remaining smaller space is a great spot for a smaller reading intervention space, and then upgrade these classrooms as well. And then the north wing, we're going through and renovating all the classrooms. Alongside that, all of your restrooms are going to be thoroughly redone in the same way that we did Los Robles and Bellhaven. So those are essentially getting demolished back to the studs. All new fixtures, all new finishes, essentially brand new bathrooms that meet all the ADA criteria, meet your latest and greatest finish standards, and will serve you for many, many years to come.
For the chair, I have a question. So with the elimination of potentially like the 4 into to the bigger, so like you're talking about 2, if we go back to the TK Kinder side, so we're eliminating 2 each to make one big.
Yeah, originally these rooms were actually one large room and they were subdivided sometime about 15, 20 years ago. So we're putting them back the way they were. So 2 small kindergarten classrooms become 1 TK classroom.
Yeah.
We're down 1 at that point.
Mhm.
And then over here, we are reducing 2 regular sized classrooms down to 1 larger kindergarten classroom with a smaller support space.
Uh-huh.
And then we make up the quantity in terms of the number of classrooms with some of the new construction.
Got it. With the potential projection of increase in TK enrollment potentially, given our increase in funding for these programs, do you think that we'll have ample space on this site specifically?
My understanding is based on the current projections, we're in a good spot to have you covered for the known future. There is some flexibility built into essentially what we're doing across the campus to move things around and expand if you need additional TK spaces.
Thank you.
So in a very sort of broad brushstroke, quick way, that's the renovations in the 3 permanent buildings. And we've got the single story here. We're putting 5 standard classrooms down there. That gets us some of our expansion. We also used some of your classroom spaces for additional support programs, because as we were working with the site, we realized that there were a lot of support programs that had grown over the years that didn't have the ideal locations for them, the ideal space for them. So part of what we were able to do is move some of the pieces around to make sure you've got the quantity of classrooms you need both now and with the reasonable projections of the growth in the future, and still be able to service the special programs that you have on site. So we've got 5 classrooms here, a 6th classroom there, and then over here we've got a flex room. And that is essentially additional admin space, conference room, along with 3 private offices. And that will handle some of your support services over there. So we have coverage on this side of campus. One of the things that was really important in the discussions with the campus was making sure we added restrooms. There was definitely a repeated theme of we do not have enough restrooms at the campus, both from the staff and through the staff, the students. So we're adding a set of student restrooms over here, and they'll have access both from the field and from the playgrounds proper. Staff restroom, and then 2 more staff restrooms over here. So I think we'll be in good shape over here restroom wise. As we look at the 2-story building, there's 2 different sort of sets of programs that are in the 2-story. Downstairs, we have 4 early childhood education classrooms, and those are intended for a future ECE program that you would have on site that's distinct from the elementary school proper. And they'll have a play space out front. Then they have their own admin and access point over here from the parking lot, and we'll talk about the parking lot in just a minute. The rest of the building is all part of the elementary school program proper. We've got a admin flex space over here along with staff and student restrooms. Another staff restroom, and then a library. And we'll talk quite a bit about the library in just a moment. On the 2nd floor, we've got a new staff room. It's one of the things that we got feedback on was that there was a need for some better staff accommodations, and this was a great opportunity to provide that for your staff. On the 2nd floor, it's going to have some really nice views, more restrooms, and then 4 classrooms. And those classrooms are on the larger side, more matching what we're doing with the early childhood education classrooms below, so we can stack them. It gets you some nice larger classrooms that give you a lot of flexibility for the future. A new maker space, and then the 2nd floor of the library. And what we're doing inside the library, and I'll show you images in just a second, is having a 2-story interior space with a mezzanine. I'll show you some images of that right now. But essentially you can enter the second floor of the library on a mezzanine and look down to the rest of the large space in the library, which I think will be really nice. And then we're also reconfiguring the parking lot up here. One of the things that I experienced the first time I was trying to park out there was how difficult it was to get around that far side. It was very tight. You've got the post for the power lines in the middle of it. So we redesigned that. We actually got you some additional parking and opened it up quite a bit. And that serves both to just have a better parking lot layout and also provide some additional access for the fire department. Any questions about the broad brushstrokes before we kind of zoom in a little bit on the two-story?
How many parking spots did we have before?
I don't remember. We are up somewhere around 8 stalls from where we are today in the final design, but I don't recall the exact number.
Okay,
I can get back to you with that number though.
thank you. I just want to know the comparison because if we're increasing certain like classroom spaces and stuff, I know that it's been a huge issue when they have like they're playing like any activity at Castaño, like they're parking in what is the fire lane now, like down that lane. So that was just a question I had.
We fit as many parking stalls as we could physically fit in this area. I think we've maximized the efficiency here. What we're not talking about tonight, what we'll be coming back to you shortly with, is the field down here that we're doing a renovation in the field. And there is some additional parking that's coming in as part of that. So you do have some future overflow. It's just across the field.
I think we saw it in a application that we submitted with the city, right? That they wanted to have that, and the entryway would be that that random parcel that we
Yeah.
own on
The
Kavanaugh?
design is based on what you had originally discussed with the city. So it's a variation of
Okay,
that.
got it.
But yes,
I got it.
it's conceptually the same.
Thank you.
Any other questions about this? Okay. Can we go to the next slide? So we're going to look at the floor plans really quickly, just to get a little bit more detail on it. So again, the ground floor, we have these early childhood education classrooms. They're the larger size, about 1,350 square feet. A normal classroom is about 960, just shy of 1,000. So a larger classroom. Each of those have restrooms that'll be the appropriate size restroom for the kids and a storage space. Custodial, 2 staff restrooms, and then there's your overflow admin space that'll be programmed a little bit further as we continue in the design process. The little mini admin for the early childhood education program. They've got an open office, a conference room, 3 private offices, and then we've got the staff restroom that serves the elementary school, and then the library. And this line right here is essentially where that mezzanine is. One of the things we want to take advantage of is there's actually a really wonderful view as you look at this direction towards the bay. One of those things you don't normally think of when you're out there looking in that direction, but once you get a little bit of elevation, there's some nice views out there. So we wanted to maximize getting some nice windows in there, but with that elevation, continue that mezzanine that's up on the second floor and put a sort of a catwalk along the edge and then stairs that come down into the library. So you can have some nice seating elements up here and see out. It's $1 million view, so we thought we better take advantage of that. And then I'll show you a little bit more about the library in just a moment. Can we go to the next slide? This then is upstairs on the second floor. Our staff room, student restrooms that serve the elementary school, and then those 4 larger classrooms, one of which has a storage room in it, the maker space, a book room, and then something we spent a lot of time on today, talking about the IDF for your IT services. And then this is that view of the mezzanine and the catwalk. Go on to the next screen. We're still a little bit early in the exterior design, but this is the direction we've been going, working with the district. And you can see that there's a lot of glass plan to really take advantage of those views to the northeast. Wanted to do some fun materials on the edge of here. If we can go to the next slide, get a little bit better view of it. This is not the colors that we're choosing. These are colors to show contrast of materials. So one of the upcoming discussions, I think we've got a preliminary meeting next week to catch Will before he rides off into the sunset to talk about colors. And we'll come back to you with the next level of development on that. But the idea is to have some fun with it, have a lot of glass, have some interesting textures. We have a little overhang here to protect the doors where the younger kids are coming in. The playground's here. And then there's that staff room that kind of looks out onto the site there. We can go to the next slide. These are some early conceptual ideas of the interior of the library. And wanted to do some fun things where there's lots of open space in the library. There's still lots of opportunities for the book stacks to store the books. But we've kind of pushed them off to the edges. And one of the things we wanted to do was create these kind of fun little reading nooks in the book stacks where you can actually sit essentially in the stacks on cushions. You can get a wheelchair in here and sort of have that little fun, cute reading spot right in the middle of the edge of the library. And then we've got a lot of opportunities for different types of seating, including a nice story time amphitheater that we've tucked under the stairs. And again, here's that catwalk where you've got the nice views out to the bay. We wanted to do something fun with the lighting as well. And then here's your mezzanine back here. We thought that would be kind of a fun opportunity that maybe it's a spot that your 4th and 5th graders get the opportunity to do. And one of those things that as you're coming up in the grades, you look forward to getting an opportunity to maybe be up in the mezzanine, something fun there. And we wanted to do some fun, colorful things on the ceiling with the lights. You go to the last slide, I think. Just a variation on the views. This is looking the other direction with our circulation desk here. You can see some of the library stacks there and lots of fun seating opportunities. There's that reading nook amphitheater, the doors that open up onto the library courtyard, and then a couple other kind of conceptual ideas for some of the lights in there. We want to make sure we do something fun that's still very playful, but modern. I believe that is the last slide. Any questions about that?
For the chair. I like the design of the library. I like the textures. I like the colors. I think, going from beginning construction of our first site till now, I think the only thing we've done is continue to get better through the sites. So I'm excited to see the changes, and ultimately it is owned by the school district, but these spaces, I believe, should also have some type of availability to our general public through rental agreements with our district, of course. But these are some of the spaces that I believe have the opportunity to also be a great community benefit. So I do like the conceptual design. I like the increase in parking. I think it's necessary. I'm excited to see the adjustment in the field. I think the only thing that I would ask is, I don't know if there's any talks about like the multipurpose site at Castanio, but I think that there's some little touch-ups that we can do whilst also happening in the construction. So I just wanted to put that on you guys' radar to like think about, because it's a really expensive facility and there are like little things that we can do to keep it at that level. And so I just wanted to make sure that that's something that we all keep in mind, especially if we're going into a year where that site will be closed.
You're talking about the gym, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that is not part of the project now. There are some things that definitely need to be done to that building. One of the things is replacing the bleachers. There's a couple other upgrades that are planned in there that are less visible in terms of some infrastructure things. But certainly one of the things on the list is to talk a little bit more about the gym as this moves forward.
We want to hear you, Dr. Eager.
Open mic night, a free flowing vibe.
Solomon, play the song.
I'm gonna go back to where it's safe for both of us. I've been having monthly or every 6 weeks office hours with the staff that are actually been meeting largely in that gym. So I have a project list that I've shared with Solomon and Delma to focus on more maintenance type projects for that space. It is one of our best buildings we have right now, so we didn't want to replace something that is in relatively good shape. We want to be smart about that, but we do agree that there's work in the gym that both brings the building back into compliance and then some smaller work in the classrooms to make them a little more friendly. So we have that list. It's not necessarily part of the bond project, but as we kind of get further along, so we want to kind of finalize while the school is on. Chris has been focused on the design of the whole site, so he doesn't necessarily know all these small tweaks we got.
Fair enough. One other thing I wanted to mention that reflected to talk about when we were on the site plan, which you reminded me of, is one of the areas around the library. So there's two exterior areas that we came up with that are part of the library area. One of them here is providing a more robust student garden. You've got the one here now that's getting displaced by the future bus drop-off. So we've got a new garden there, and then we've got this plaza here that's for the library and kind of this outdoor area there. It's going to have a fence around it, so it's still part of the secured campus perimeter. But one of the things we talked about was putting a large set of gates there that you could back the food truck in if you have an event, or for some of the food distribution potentially could happen there. And so the idea is you've got this large, really nice plaza that's used as an educational component, but that'll serve you very well as a additional portion of the library complex, and you've got doors that open up directly to that.
I know at the front we had a huge fire lane. Are they still gonna have access to the Fordham site, or is it primarily gonna be through the university site?
We still have fire lanes. We've moved them around a little bit. We spent time with the fire department on this. So right now you've got a fire access road here that comes down there. We actually have it dashed in here. You can kind of see where the fire lane is for this portion of the site. And then you've got basically poles up here, fire lane along University, and then we've got a portion of fire lane that's up here. And then between the combination of those three, we capture all the components of the site to be able to get a ladder truck to the taller building and hoses to all the other buildings.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I just want to say thank you so much for the presentation and also just for the design. We know that Castano was a difficult site to design on because we have the Hetch Hetchy waterway. I don't know what it's called. Sorry. Underneath. And so we know we can't even put a pole in the ground or plant a tree on top of that. And so without 1,000 forms in 1,000 years. So we really appreciate figuring out how to continue to add to the space and add classrooms to the space, add new buildings to the space, along with parking spots. We know that it was not an easy task as the designer architect. So we just thank you and your group specifically for that. And working not only with our district staff, but also the team there just to make sure that the elements that they really think about and want to see are represented here in the design. I also know that it's okay. I also know that Trustee Chabot Maheen and I are on the facility subcommittee, and so we asked a lot of questions about how are we reflecting that this is Castano School of the Arts. And so I do appreciate the little pieces of art that you have included in the design as well, especially in that library space and being able to kids to access those things and find joy in their community and in their environment around them, and also see how the little things, which I know we didn't do the deep dive here, which we don't need to, but there's even within what type of play structures we're putting on the site or what type of things we're going to hang outside or inside the buildings. Like those are all little tiny touches that do reflect the type of school and the community that we're trying to build there and the ways that we're trying to inspire kids to learn and access learning. So thank you for that. And I just really love the design. I think it's amazing. And I think that just even the angle, right? Like to have the library at an angle so we can see the view, right? Like those are very thoughtful things that you can do because you've been at our sites and you see it and you know it and you have worked with our team and your team has worked with our team to really think about those things. So thank you to the district staff, to SVA architects, and just this beautiful design. And again, thank you to our community for saying yes on Measure A so we can make all of this happen. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Bradley, for that presentation, and Dr. Eager as well. So this is up for consideration for approval. So I think, are there any other comments from board trustees? And then from there, we'll move to open comments if there are any speakers, but any other comments or questions from trustees? Okay, if not, Trustee Varghese, do we have any speakers?
No speaker cards.
Okay, well, with that, do I have a motion to approve item 7A, the Castano design?
To the chair, I move to approve item 7A, the approval of the Castano designs.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you so much. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Well done. Thank you so much. Okay, we are moving to 7B, consideration to approve resolution number 26-36, authorizing submission of bonding capacity waiver.
In order to do that, as we mentioned earlier in the evening, we won't redo the presentation, but we do need to submit to the state a waiver to allow us to issue the not yet technically passed, but very likely to pass Measure A. So this is the actual action item that follows the informational public hearing that we had earlier in that presentation.
Everything we had to discuss was basically presented previously. This is for the next item. And so what I would say is that this authorizes us to submit the waiver, or authorizes to submit the waiver in anticipation of a September State Board of Education approval of said waiver, allowing for an October issuance.
Thank you, Mr. Green and Dr. Eager. Okay, so any comments or questions about this item from board trustees?
No,
Okay.
no speaker cards either.
Thank you, trustee Vargas Bloom. With that said, this is a resolution, so I'll take a motion first, and then with that on the table, I'll have you speak. So first off, do I have a motion to approve item 7B?
I move to approve item 7D.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, trustee Vargas Bloom.
Board of Education of the Ravenswood City School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, Resolution number 2636. Resolution of the Board of Education of Ravenswood requesting the State Board of Education to waive the district's statutory bonding limit, whereas so on and so forth.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving item 7B, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to item 7C, consideration to approve resolution number 26-37, authorizing submission of estimated debt service for 26-27 tax levy.
Thank you, Shannon Green and East Shore Consulting. And just as an overview, congratulations to the district on the currently successful passage of Measure A. At this time, we have a approval rate of over 65%. We are highly confident that the fourth bond measure of the district, Measure A, will be approved since 2016. So with that, congratulations. As Will had indicated, we are working in design Measure A to be issued as a single $70 million issuance. And so that will be coming up this fall, anticipating then after we receive a waiver in October. Unfortunately, because of the time of the election and the time of the waiver and State Board of Education lead time for their meetings, we will not be able to submit a finalized debt service or repayment schedule for our Measure A bonds until after the deadline the county has. And so in order to ensure that we have the tax rate on the 26-27 fiscal year to allow for a more rapid repayment of the bonds 1 year sooner, we would like to submit an estimate of the proposed debt service or repayment for Measure A bonds to San Mateo County, which is allowed under their process. That would allow them to calculate the tax rate for Measure A in anticipation of its issuance. And here is a reflection of the estimate which we have based upon today's market conditions. With enough flexibility that things should move a little bit, we can still fit within this and access the full amount. And so we would submit this information to the county pursuant to its process. And with that estimated debt service, they would again compute a tax rate levy not to exceed the $27.50 per 100,000 of taxable value, which was approved by voters of Measure A on June 2nd. Once they have the resolution in this schedules, they will be able to compute the tax rate for next year, allowing us to efficiently and smoothly access the Measure A bonds. We would recommend the approval of that as it does provide for, again, a more efficient issuance and a ultimately lower cost to taxpayers. Here's our proposed timeline for our issuance. As you can see here tonight, we are looking to have approval of this, and tomorrow we'll be submitting both the waiver and this information to the county. And then once that has been completed, we will go ahead and deal with our waiver process with the state, which should be concluded in mid-September, allowing us to issue bonds in the October timeframe. And so by providing this estimate, again, we do get a levy on the 26-7 tax roll in advance of the issuance. Again, all done for efficiency, and we'd like to remind the board that any funds collected under that estimate are sequestered and only usable for bond repayment, so there is no risk of loss of those monies. With that, if there are any questions, I'm happy to entertain them at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Board, any questions or comments?
No speaker cards.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that presentation and for all your support and help with this. Okay, so we are on item 7C. So do I have a motion to approve this item?
I'll make a motion to approve item 7C.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Resolution.
Resolution number 2637, resolution requesting Board of Supervisors of the County of San Mateo to establish tax rate for bonds of the Ravenswood City School District expected to be sold during the fiscal year 26-27 and authorizing necessary actions in connection therewith. Whereas this Board of Education, so on and so forth.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, okay. On to item 7D, consideration to approve the declaration of need for the 26-27 school year. Almost said Declaration of Independence, but I didn't.
So much July 4th. A little break from construction. The declaration of need is required by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing to be submitted every year by school districts if they anticipate needing to employ educators on emergency, intern, or limited assignment permits. And so we are seeking the board's approval of this declaration of need for the 26-27 school year. This is a compliance requirement. It's annually submitted. It does not mean the district will hire emergency intern or limited assignment teachers. Our goal is always to hire fully credentialed teachers. This simply gives us the flexibility to access various credentialing options if we need to.
Beautiful. Thank you. Any questions or comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve item 7D?
To the chair, make a motion to approve item 7D.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, 7E, consideration to approve the option and form of ground lease for 2120 Euclid.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. This is the final approval of ground lease for 2120 Euclid. This is the agreement with the Pacific companies. They've been working very hard under exclusive negotiating agreement to kind of finalize this. This option of form of ground lease was presented at the May 28th board meeting, two meetings ago. There have been minor changes more on the cleanup side since then. As a reminder, similar to Euclid, the board would approve the similar to flood, the board would approve the final ground lease. This is just the template that we are using for the ultimate ground lease, but it's sort of really the driving document of the option agreement. The option agreement allows them to work to develop the site, get it fully entitled. This developer is working very quickly. We're hoping to go to Planning Commission in July. We're hoping to continue to partner with City Council and the neighbors, PG&E, a couple of other sort of relevant stakeholder groups to get this project built quickly, and I think we're off to the races. So this doesn't change in any way sort of the material terms that the board's approved, seen, and it's been publicly presented, but we're just sort of doing one last final approval for this. That was my presentation.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments about this lease? If not, or any speakers?
No speaker cards.
Thank you. So do I have a motion to approve item 7E?
Through the chair, I move to approve item 7E, the consideration approval ground lease 20.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. On to item 7F, consideration to approve the memorandum of understanding with Sand Hill Properties.
This is the evening trustees. This is a slightly different agreement, but related to the lease of 2120 Euclid. So as I think the board knows, the public knows, While this project is fully paying for itself and bringing in revenue to the district, the available funds to build affordable housing are not sufficient from rent and federal and state tax credits to actually get the project built. So we need to find additional funding. For the flood site, that additional funding came largely from the county with a little bit of support from the city of Menlo Park. For the Euclid site, we've received significant money from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, but we have not received enough money by itself to actually build this site. Fortunately for us, the city of East Palo Alto has long required developers who seek to build housing elsewhere in the city to put money aside or to directly build affordable housing. So the city's been working with us and working with for-profit developers to identify ways to reallocate some of that funding to help them meet their affordable housing requirement for this site. So what that means is the Sandhill property specifically needs to build market rate housing. In order to do that, they've committed to provide a certain number of units, I want to say 85 off the top of my head, to the city of East Palo Alto. Our property exceeds that threshold, and so allows the city is potentially allowing Sandhill to transfer money to this project that'll make this project solvent and able to move forward. Without that money, we don't have a path forward on financing the project. So cities seem to be excited about this. I think we're also excited about this. What this MOU outlines is that we're excited about this. We want to work. Ultimately, the city is the decider. The city has the ability to allow this transfer. They have the ability to allow Sandhill property or another future developer to contribute funds to this project and make it solvent so that it pencils out as affordable. Or the city can say, no, this is not the way that this is going to happen. So this memorandum of understanding kind of signals that yes, we want to work together with a developer, whether it's Sandhill, whether it's another developer. In this case, the developer we have right now is Sandhill, to help build this project. So this is an agreement to work with them to fund this project. The city council, as I understand it, as currently scheduled, is set to vote on an agreement with Sandhill in Tuesday or whatever day this was, like 16th, sometime next week, to approve a tweak to their development agreement, which allows them to transfer funding from another project that doesn't seem to be viable to this project. With that, I will conclude my presentation.
Thank you so much. Trustees, any questions or comments?
The chair, I have a question. What our chambers is attached to this project, correct?
You know, I could see how there could be some confusion here. Sandhill Properties is a for-profit company. The Sandhill Foundation is developing a community housing. Sandhill Foundation project, totally separate, totally distinct, nothing to do with this. This is for a for-profit developer agreement. Sandhill,
No, I know, but like the part of the board chambers
Yeah.
is
Board
going
chambers
in
is
the
part-
district office.
Board chambers is part of the community housing. This is for the 2120.
Oh, this is for the 2120. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Through the chair, I have a question.
Of course.
With the city, so part of the reason we're even exploring building housing is so that we can have more revenue for our schools and teachers. Would this transfer at all give any rights to the city over anything? Just want to make sure that that's crystal clear.
Yeah, crystal clear. We could reach a future agreement where the city gets some housing preferences, but that is not what's currently contemplated. All that's contemplated right now is the city allowing Sandhill to meet their requirements by contributing to this project. So there could be another developer who's building somewhere else in East Palo Alto, and the city can say, hey, you should work with them instead of working with 2120. So the city wants and is required by state law to build affordable housing. So this is a chance for the city to actually achieve their goals. And as an added bonus, it allows the district to get a sustainable source of revenue, and as Trustee Nunez points out, build housing for our teachers and our staff. So it's kind of like a win-win-win-win.
Because all of the affordable housing that we're building contributes to the city's overall goal of affordable housing.
Their goal and their statewide requirement to build affordable housing.
Interesting.
So basically, with the housing ordinance right now in the state, every city's mandated and they'll get penalized if they don't meet that quota. So we're basically,
Maybe this is an offline conversation for me, because I feel like I've been hearing about them lowering these affordable housing things for new developments, but now we're making up for it with our buildings.
I think there's two different conversations going on about the city changing requirements for affordability thresholds for new projects. That's sort of independent of this conversation.
Okay.
This conversation is pre-approved development that committed to building a certain amount of units.
Okay.
And they've struggled to build those units, and therefore their project can't proceed until they build those units. And we're like, hey,
Have you met
we're building
Ravenswood?
units.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that's basically exactly right. So it really does feel like a way for the developer to proceed with their project, the city to hit their state required goals, the district to get all of the benefits through this. And the goal of this is to help reiterate for the city the importance of this project to this board. District.
To the chair, can you give me an estimate on the number of units?
Our project has, I want to say 430 units.
Yeah, and I just want you to say that for the record, because I think it's big that we're responding to a regional crisis, that we're being part of that solution. So just thank you for saying that out loud.
85 at the flood park site, so over 500 across the two.
Thank you. And thank you for those questions as well and those answers. Okay, so do we have any speakers for this item?
No speaker cards.
Awesome. With that, do I have a motion to approve item 7F?
I'll make a motion to approve item 7F.
And do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor of approving item 7F, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, we're on item 7G, consideration to approve the Silicon Valley International School lease.
My my last ground lease. Whoa. Ground leases make me very emotional.
wait, I have 10 questions before you start.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wait, you know, I want to be here all night, actually.
Let's stick around and talk through this. I did attach the presentation this time, which I know I forgot at the last meeting. At the last meeting, presented a draft version of this lease, which I talked through and then added a presentation shortly thereafter. But this is the lease of Silicon Valley National School. It is a longer term lease, provided that certain investment conditions are met. We conducted a bid. We received a compelling proposal from the current tenant, Silicon Valley National School, and we are proceeding. We drafted an extension document with support from the board. We did present that at the last board meeting, so this is now, after presenting it, this would be the time for ratification should the board choose to do that. Given this presentation, kind of, I will conclude my presentation.
Thank you. Any comments or questions about this item? Any comments from the floor, speaker?
No speaker cards.
Thank you. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve item 7G?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve item 7G.
And do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your last ground lease. Okay, now we're on 7H, consideration to approve the revised facilities master plan.
All right, this is an odd one. The recently passed school construction bond required us to adopt and pass a revised facilities master plan. It is a very odd time in the district's history for us to approve a facilities master plan because we're about to finish Bellhaven, we just finished Trailblaze, we've already finished the CRMS, and the only site left to plan for is Castanio. Earlier in the evening, the board approved the designs for Castanio. So we don't really need a facilities master plan. So instead of going out and paying someone to do this sort of compliant document, we cobble together what you see before you. It is not our finest work, but importantly, it does meet the criteria that the state is looking for a facilities master plan. This is a new requirement. This is, we submitted it to the state for the feedback. We were actually the first district in the state to submit a complete facilities master plan to the state for the feedback. So there may be sort of future tweaks and changes to it, but what's most important about this is not that it fundamentally changes anything on the district side. We already have our design and design that kind of includes the construction phasing. But what is important about this is it makes us eligible to apply for those future bond funds, future state matching funds. So this unlocks $3.5 million or so of matching funds for Castaño. So the substance of the plan doesn't say a whole lot that's new. I don't want to act like this is some sort of seminal policy document. It is not. It just is a necessary step to unlock the state matching funds. So if the board ratifies it, we will then be well positioned to apply for those matching funds once Castaño kind of gets underway. That I conclude my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
No speaker sheets.
Thank you, trustee Varghese Bloom. With that, do I have a motion to approve item 7H, the revised facilities master plan?
The chair make a motion to approve item 7H.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving, the Texas action was coming out. Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay, we are on the consent agenda, item number 8. And so we are on 8A. We pulled item 8A1 at the start of the meeting. And then the remaining items are 8A2 through 15. So we'll consider the pulled item first. I cannot vote on this because I was absent, so, and as well as trustee Nunez. So I'll leave it to you, Vice President.
I will entertain a motion for item 8A1, which is the regular board meeting of May 28th.
I move to approve item 8A1.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All abstain.
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 Motion carries 302, which President Chibomahine and trustee Nunez recusing or
Abstain.
abstaining.
Thank you. Perfectly done. Thank you, Vice President Latu. Okay, so for the remaining items on the consent agenda, 8A2 through 8A, I just had it 15. Do I have a motion to approve?
The chair make a motion to approve item 8A2 through 15.
Thank you, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. We're gonna keep the party going. We are on item 9, going into closed session. And so before we move into closed session, if there are any folks who want to share any words, please grab our lovely yellow sheet and come on up if you want to speak about any items that are listed under the closed session. Trustee Varghese Bloom, do you have any speakers?
No speakers.
Thank you. With that, we will move into closed session at 7:44 PM. Thank you. It is now 9:45 PM and we have returned to open session. We are on item 10B, report of action taken in closed session. So for item 9A, discussion was had and no action was taken. And for item 9B, the superintendent evaluation, we had conversation. It was lovely. We shared our gratitude. It was beautiful. Just want to officially and formally say, we love the work that Superintendent Sudari is doing here in the district. She had a wonderful evaluation. Took the development area as well. We celebrated, the accolades and all of that. So thank you for everyone for participating in that, but no action was taken per se on that item. Okay, moving on to 9C, consideration to approve resolution board member absences. Is anyone absent? No, just making sure. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. And so next regular board meeting is next week, June 18th at 6 PM. Hope to see everyone there. And with that, it is 9:46 PM and this